In today's video, we're going to look at simple interest and see how we can calculate it. To understand how it works, let's imagine that you had £200 of savings and that you lent it to somebody at a simple interest rate of 3% a year. What does that actually mean? Well, it means that at some point, that person will have to pay you back the original £200 that they borrowed, plus an extra 3% for every year that they're borrowing the money. So to find out how much they'd owe you after just 1 year, we'd need to find 3% of £200, which would be the interest, and add that to the original £200. We've already covered how to find a percentage of a number in another video, but the technique that we'll use here is to take the percentage number, so 3, divide it by 100 to turn it into a decimal, so 0.03, and then multiply that by the number that you want a percentage of. So because we want 3% of £200, we do 0.03 times 200, which is £6. And now that we know that the interest would be £6 a year, we just add that to the original £200 to find out that the person would owe you £206. Now, of course, they might not have borrowed it for just 1 year. They may have borrowed it for a longer period. So let's now try and find out how much they'd owe you if they kept it for 2 years. For this, we could just take how much they'd owe you after 1 year, so the £206, and then add on another year's worth of interest, so add £6, which would bring the total debt to £212. This technique is pretty good if you just have very low numbers, so 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and so on. But if they ask for a much longer period, like 10 years, then we might need to use a slightly different technique. For this, we could still take the original £200, but this time we'd need to add 10 times the annual interest, because they're borrowing it for 10 years. So £200 plus 10 times £6, because it's going to be an extra £6 of interest each year. So that gives us £200 plus £60, or £260 in total. Let's try another one, and give the video a pause if you want to give it a go first. So in this question, we're told that Dora invests £600 for 6 years in a bank account, and that the account pays simple interest at a rate of 2.1% per year. Our job is to work out the total amount of money that she'll have at the end of the 6 years. So for this one, we need to take the £600 original investment, because you'll get that back at the end, and add 6 years worth of annual interest. And remember, to work out the annual interest, we just convert the 2.1% to a decimal by dividing it by 100, which would be 0.021, and then multiply it by the original amount of £600. So that would give us £12.60 of interest each year. Then if we substitute this into our equation, we get £600 plus 6 times £12.60. And so if we simplify that, that gives us £600 plus £75.60, and so a total of £675.60.